Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into the world of Lord Siva.
Oh, yeah.
One of Hinduism's most important and complex deities.
Yes,
We've got
yes.
religious texts and briefing documents as our guide.
Right.
But even those barely scratch the surface of who Siva really is.
You can say that again.
So our mission today is to really try to understand Lord Siva's place in Hindu cosmology.
Okay.
We're going to explore both his transcendent side
Uh-huh.
and his personal side.
Interesting.
Get ready for a fascinating deep dive because we're talking about the ultimate reality,
Mm-hmm.
the foundation of existence,
Yeah,
but also a cosmic dancer,
like that.
destroyer of sorrow.
Wow. And a family man.
That's fascinating.
All in one.
It's going to be a wild ride.
So let's start with Siva's transcendent aspect.
Okay.
The texts describe him as pure consciousness,
Interesting.
existing beyond the dualities we usually think about.
Like what?
Like light and dark,
Uh-huh.
form and energy,
Right.
even time and space.
What? It's mind-boggling, but this is where that concept of impersonal absolute Brahman comes in.
Okay.
Think of it as the ultimate unchanging source of everything.
The source of everything.
Yeah, Siva, in this aspect, embodies Brahman,
I see.
untouched by all the limitations of our perceived world.
That's powerful.
So if Siva exists beyond time and space,
Yeah.
what does that even mean for us? We experience reality in a very different way.
That's true. We're kind of limited, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. It suggests that our perception of reality is just that. A perception limited by our senses and experiences.
Like that.
Siva, as this ultimate reality, goes beyond all that.
So there's more than what we see.
Right. The texts don't just leave Siva as this distant abstract force, though, do they?
They don't.
No.
There's more. Siva has an active side.
Okay, tell me about that.
So this is where we encounter the concept of Shakti.
Shakti.
Yeah, it's often translated as his power or energy.
Power or energy?
Right. When identified with Shakti, Siva becomes this dynamic force in the universe,
Dynamic force.
like a force of nature.
Okay, so what does this active side of Siva look like?
Think about the imagery of Siva's cosmic dance.
Oh, yeah.
This dance is said to drive the creation,
Uh-huh.
the preservation,
Okay.
and even the destruction of the universe.
Oh, so it's not just creation.
No.
It's this constant cycle of change.
Yes, exactly.
Almost like the seasons or even breathing in and out.
That's a great analogy.
And this cyclical process driven by Siva's dance.
Right.
This is how the universe unfolds.
It's quite a beautiful image, isn't it?
Yeah, that's powerful imagery.
Mhm.
And within this cycle, Siva is also known as the destroyer of sorrow.
Oh, yeah.
He offers liberation or mukti to his devotees.
Mukti, that's a key concept here.
Could you explain what mukti means?
Sure.
I think our listener might be unfamiliar with that term.
Yeah, mukti essentially means liberation from the cycle of birth and death
Birth and death.
and all the suffering that comes with it.
all the suffering.
This liberation is like the ultimate goal in many Hindu traditions.
I see.
It's about realizing our true nature,
Oh. Ooh.
which is divine
Uh-huh.
and eternal, not bound by these earthly limitations.
So it's about transcending those limitations.
Exactly.
And the texts seem to emphasize that anyone, regardless of their background,
Mhm.
can connect with Siva and seek this liberation.
Absolutely.
That's an important point.
Yeah.
It suggests that a personal connection with the divine is key in Hinduism.
It's all about the relationship.
Not rigid rules or hierarchies,
Right.
but that direct relationship
Yes.
with the divine.
It makes you think about how Hinduism views the divine, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
This accessibility feels very unique.
It is.
But let's move on to another intriguing aspect of Siva,
Okay.
his many names and forms.
Right.
We have Rudra,
Uh-huh.
Mahadeva,
Mm.
Asutosha.
Yes.
Each one seems to highlight a different side of him.
Absolutely.
And we can't forget those powerful symbols associated with him. Oh, the symbols are so important.
The trident or trisoul
Uh-huh.
represents his threefold power.
Full power.
The tiger skin symbolizes his mastery over the senses.
Mastery over the senses.
And the river Ganga, flowing through his hair, signifies purification
purification.
and the transcendence of even the most turbulent aspects of existence.
Powerful imagery.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
What might that tiger skin, a symbol of primal energy, tell us about Siva's relationship with nature?
That's a great question. It suggests a level of mastery over those primal forces.
Mastery.
And then we have the Ganga, a river known for its purifying qualities.
Right.
How does that connect to Siva's role as a liberator? Someone who helps us move beyond suffering.
Interesting. These symbols offer so many layers of meaning.
Layers upon layers.
And speaking of layers,
Yeah.
there's one more that we should discuss, and it might surprise our listeners.
What's that?
Lord Siva, the family man.
The family man.
Yes, it might seem unexpected.
He's often portrayed as awe-inspiring, sometimes even fearsome.
Right.
But he is also shown as the head of an ideal family.
A family man.
With his wife Uma and sons Subramanya and Ganesha.
It's a different side of him.
It's almost like it makes Shiva more relatable.
I agree.
Someone who experiences the joys and challenges of family life just like we do.
Right.
But how does this fit with the image of a deity who exists beyond time and space?
That is a fascinating question. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
It is.
And this is what makes Shiva such a compelling figure.
I agree.
He embodies these seemingly opposite qualities.
Yeah.
The transcendent and the immanent, the cosmic and the personal.
That's a great point. It's like
he's showing us that these aspects aren't mutually exclusive.
Okay.
But rather different facets of a greater whole.
I like that idea of wholeness.
It ties into another aspect we haven't fully explored yet.
Which is?
Shiva's role as the destroyer.
You know, when we were talking about that earlier, I realized the word destroyer often has kind of negative connotation.
Right.
But it seems to have a different meaning in this context.
You're absolutely right. When we talk about Shiva as the destroyer, we're not talking about just annihilation for its own sake.
So it's not like wiping everything out?
No. It's more about the destruction of ignorance of illusion.
Okay.
Of the things that keep us trapped in suffering.
So it's more like clearing away the old to make way for the new.
Exactly. Think of it like a sculptor.
Okay.
Chipping away at a block of stone to reveal the masterpiece within.
I like that.
The act of destruction is essential to the creative process.
That's a great analogy.
And it makes me think about how Shiva is also described as the source of liberation.
Right.
Freeing his devotees from the cycle of birth and death.
Yes, and that liberation, that mukti, is about recognizing our true nature.
Yeah.
Which is divine and eternal.
And moving beyond the limitations of the material world.
So how does one achieve this liberation?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. Is it about following strict rules or performing rituals?
The texts we've looked at seem to emphasize a deep personal connection with Shiva.
Okay.
Through devotion and meditation.
So again, that direct relationship.
Yes. Accessible to anyone regardless of their background.
That idea of personal connection keeps coming up.
It's central to understanding Shiva.
It feels that way.
It's not about worshiping a distant deity, but cultivating a relationship with the divine.
Yeah.
One that's deeply personal and transformative.
And this personal aspect is also reflected in the depictions of Shiva's family life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We see him as a husband to Uma, and father to Subramanya and Ganesha.
Right, by portraying him as a family man.
Yeah.
The texts highlight Shiva's benevolent and compassionate nature.
Okay.
He's not just this cosmic force, but also a loving and caring deity who participates in the joys and challenges of family life.
It makes him more relatable, more human in a way.
Yes, exactly.
I do.
It reminds us that the divine can be found not just in grand cosmic events, but also in the everyday moments of our lives.
But there's another side to Shiva as well, isn't there?
There is.
One that's a bit more
austere.
Yes, austere.
You're thinking of his association with yogis and ascetics.
Exactly. He's often depicted as a master of meditation and self-control. Right. Someone who has transcended the desires and limitations of the material world.
That's right. And his dwelling place also reflects this aspect.
How so?
He's often associated with cremation grounds.
Cremation grounds.
Yeah.
That's not exactly the most inviting location.
True, but it's a powerful symbol.
Okay.
The cremation ground represents the impermanence of life. And the need to detach from worldly attachments. It's a reminder that true liberation lies in transcending the ego and embracing the eternal reality of the soul.
So is Shiva saying we should all become hermits and live in cremation grounds?
Not necessarily, but he is inviting us to contemplate the deeper meaning of life and death.
Life and death.
To question our attachments and seek a connection with something greater than ourselves.
So it's more about adopting a certain mindset?
Right.
A way of being in the world?
Exactly.
Rather than a literal change of address.
It's about cultivating inner stillness, self-awareness, and a detachment from the things that ultimately don't matter.
And this is where the practice of yoga comes in, right?
Precisely.
It's not just about physical posture.
No.
But a whole system aimed at uniting the individual soul with the divine.
Exactly. And Shiva, as the master yogi, embodies this path to liberation.
Wow. Every time we think we've uncovered all the layers of Siva's personality, another one reveals itself. It's mind-boggling, but also incredibly inspiring.
Isn't it Siva's story challenges us to expand our understanding of the divine?
Yeah.
To look beyond our limited perceptions?
It does.
He reminds us that reality is far more complex and multifaceted than we often realize.
Absolutely. It's like he embodies the whole tapestry of existence.
The whole tapestry.
With all its beauty, chaos, and complexity.
And within that tapestry, he offers us a path to liberation. A way to connect with our true nature and find peace amidst the ever-changing flow of life.
Beautifully put. And this brings us to another important aspect of understanding Siva.
Okay.
His mythology.
The stories.
Right. We've talked about his various aspects and roles.
Yeah.
But his stories offer a whole other level of insight into his nature and his relationship with humanity.
Exactly. And those stories are filled with symbolism and deeper meaning.
Okay, so we're back.
Back again.
And ready to dive into some of those stories.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I'm really curious to see what kind of insights we can get from Siva's mythology.
I think you'll be surprised.
So many fascinating tales.
There are.
But let's start with one of the most famous.
Okay, which one?
The descent of the Ganga.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Legend has it that the sacred river Ganga was too powerful to flow onto Earth without causing, total devastation.
It would have been catastrophic.
I've heard about this. It's the one where Siva uses his hair to tame the river, right?
That's the one.
So what happens?
So Siva agreed to let the Ganga fall upon his matted hair,
Okay.
gradually releasing its waters onto the world
I see.
and preventing a catastrophic flood.
So it's not just a cool visual.
No.
It's a story about Siva protecting humanity.
Exactly. It highlights his role as a mediator between the divine and earthly realms.
Mediator.
He protects humanity from the potentially destructive forces of nature,
Okay.
while ensuring we receive its life-giving blessings.
That makes sense. It ties into that whole concept of balance we've been discussing.
Balance is key.
Are there any other stories that kind of illustrate this aspect of Siva?
Absolutely. The story of the churning of the ocean is a powerful one.
Tell me about that one.
In this myth, the gods and demons churned the cosmic ocean to obtain the elixir of immortality.
The elixir of immortality.
But during this process, a deadly poison emerged, threatening to destroy all creation.
That sounds intense. What happened next?
Siva, seeing the danger, stepped forward and drank the poison.
He drank the poison?
Yes, holding it in his throat to prevent it from spreading. This act earned him the name Nilkantha.
Nilkantha.
The blue-throated one.
That's an incredible act of sacrifice.
It is.
It really shows Siva's willingness to protect the world.
Absolutely.
Even at great personal cost.
Even at great personal cost.
Yeah.
It speaks to his boundless compassion.
Boundless compassion.
This story reminds us that Siva is a savior figure.
A savior.
A deity who endures suffering to ensure the well-being of others.
These stories are so vivid and captivating.
They are, aren't they?
It feels like the more we learn about Siva, the more layers we uncover, the more intriguing he becomes.
That's the beauty of exploring these ancient myths.
I agree.
They challenge us to think beyond the surface and contemplate deeper meanings.
So if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, what does Siva's mythology ultimately teach us?
I think it encourages us to recognize the interconnectedness of all things.
Interconnectedness.
Siva, in his various forms and roles, embodies this idea.
Okay.
He represents the cyclical nature of existence, the dance between creation and destruction.
Creation and destruction.
The interplay of the transcendent and the immanent.
It's like he's the embodiment of reality itself.
He is.
With all its beauty, chaos, and complexity.
And within that tapestry of reality, Siva offers us a path to liberation.
Liberation.
He shows us how to connect with our true nature and find peace amidst the constant change of life.
This has been such a thought-provoking exploration.
It has.
So to our listeners out there, if Siva represents both the beginning and the end, the creator and the destroyer, where does that leave us?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. What's our place in this cosmic dance?
It suggests that we're an integral part of this dance. Interconnected with all of creation.
All of creation.
We are both the source and the product of this vast, ever-unfolding universe.
And realizing that opens up incredible possibilities for self-discovery and freedom.
It does.
I agree.
By exploring Siva's mythology and contemplating his many facets, we can gain insights into our own nature and our place in this grand scheme of things.
Our place.
we start to see the divine not as something separate from ourselves, but as something that resides within us and connects us to everything around us.
What a powerful way to look at it.
It is.
I think we've given our listener a lot to think about today.
We have.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
There are countless stories, interpretations, and practices waiting to be explored.
So to our listeners,
yes,
we encourage you to continue exploring the world of Lord Siva.
It's a fascinating journey.
It is. It's a journey of discovery, contemplation, and ultimately transformation.
Transformation.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning.
Yes.
And keep diving deep into the mysteries of the universe.